Hello everyone, I just want to address some concerns I have over a clip that came out from some Bungie developers last night. So the DCP podcast has a second podcast called Firing Range. It actually has a lot of my friends on it, where they just sit and they talk about sandbox things that are going on mostly in the Crucible, and it has a lot of great guys on it. I fully recommend the podcast, and the VOD for the podcast I'm talking about will be, I'll have a link down in the description whenever it's up on their YouTube. There's something a little bit concerning said last night though. They had two Bungie developers on there, Kevin Yanes, who I believe is the head of the Sandbox team, as well as Chris Proctor, who also works on the Sandbox team. I don't know if he's the head of the team as well, or a co-head or whatever. But two people that are integral to the running of the Sandbox team. And so they obviously had a lot of questions about PvP, shotguns, 120, stasis, stuff like that. But there was one PvE question asked as well that I'm not really a fan of the answer they gave. So let's watch the clip. Once again, I'll have the full VOD linked down below whenever it's on YouTube. And then let's talk about it.
What are your thoughts on people quick swapping slug shotguns for higher DPS in PvE, and by proxy, the quick swap glitch?
I think that we were okay with the quick swap glitch because people didn't really need it because they had quick draw up 100% of the time. And now that we've touched quick draw, it's probably something we're going to have to look at. So I think that it's this sort of word of mouth, like skill move thing, which just isn't accessible to everyone. And so if you don't have another way of quick swapping weapons, you probably shouldn't be able to just choose to do it.
For reference, I don't know how to not do it at this point.
So what they're talking about there at the end, I'm pretty sure Cammy Cakes is referring to the PvP version of that same maneuver. But what they're talking about is the ability to hot swap shotguns. So you might see me do this whenever I do different raid stuff from time to time. But essentially, it's really early, so I'm gonna fuck this up. But it's a way where you sprint cancel. Oh, sorry. See what I'm talking about? Sprint cancel, and you can switch shotguns faster. And that is much better than just sitting here and, as you can see, I'm shooting twice as quick because I'm switching between shotguns. And you throw in something like Anarchy, and your DPS is much, much, much higher. So some people would say this is a problem. Personally, I really like DPS strategies like this. I really like fully dynamic DPS phases. Being able to do something that definitely requires more dexterity and more skill, but gives you a higher output is something that, as an endgame player that's really chasing those endgame challenges, I'm very much a big fan of these things, and I think that Bungie should be promoting them, not getting rid of them. And the question I have, one of many, he says it's an accessibility problem, but like how? I know that you can do this on every platform. It doesn't matter if you're on a controller, if you're on a mouse and keyboard, you can do that. Is it an accessibility problem because people with controllers can't make macros? Because believe me, when this was first discovered or became popular with Deepstone Crypt, I tried a macro and that shit's hard, okay? It was so difficult for me to get the timing of the macro down. I just learned how to do it, and I fully recommend everyone just learn how to do it. Never take the macro way out. You know, I've learned the error of my ways, and it's really just not that hard. It's like a combination of 3 buttons being able to switch faster. And I don't know. I think these things should not be nerfed or nuked by Bungie. I think they should be left in the game. They make damage phases more dynamic. And as my friend Soto Slice pointed out, it can actually have pretty negative impacts on the game when they fix these things. So for instance, Izanagi's, you used to be able to hot swap this. You still can. But they made it so that when you can press 4 bullets, you can't shoot for like, you know, a solid 3 seconds. That was me spamming the trigger as fast as I could. And if you look at sniper rifles, unfortunately, these have been affected too. And so when you remove these like buttery smooth dynamics from the game, it makes the rest of the game feel even more clunky. And, you know, of course, you can get around the Izanagi hot swap thing by using like an auto-loading grenade launcher or a rocket. I don't want them to fix that either. I think Bungie should be promoting the use of higher skill DPS phases and not getting rid of them. I think more interesting, more dynamic damage phases that have more thought go into them and more techniques go into them are better. No one likes sitting in a firing line and sniping an Izanagi's bubble, or Divinity bubble, rather. No one likes that. They need to be interesting, and they've already kind of, there's been different iterations of nerfing DPS phases, but like a huge one was right after Forsaken launched, I think. They changed it so there's only one buff and one debuff at a time. So you can no longer stack a bunch of abilities across characters, and it's just takes a lot of the thought and the skill and the strategy out of it. And I really don't want them to remove shotgun hot swapping, because once again, like, these just, anything that lowers that skill gap makes DPS phases more or less interesting. So let me know down in the comment section below 2 things. Do you currently know how to shotgun hot swap, and do you actively use it? Yes or no? That's an important thing. And then following that, give me your opinion on it. I want to know what the rest of the community feels like. Please don't, once again, don't attack any developers. This is just a conversation that I would like to open up to the Bungie devs. I just hate when the game becomes more simplistic and they nerf strategies that higher skill or players that chase more end game content use, and they just nerf it for no reason. Another example, not a DPS thing, but the world line skating, right? All of these things, instead of nerfing them because they're not accessible, whatever that means in this instance, just make them accessible, you know, just make them accessible to the small part of the population that it's not accessible towards, I think would be a better solution. Anyways, once again, let me know if you shotgun hot swap and what you think about this down in the comment section below. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like rating and to share it with your friends. If you are interested in watching either of the 2 videos on screen, you can click their respective annotations to be taken to them. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure the giant version of my logo on screen to be subscribed for more awesome Destiny 2 videos and live streams. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I'll see you in my next video.